Bad news for Nvidia stock shareholders. If you've seen the headlines, you might be saying, oh, maybe I should be selling my shares in the next couple of days. Or, is it really bad news? Or are those just scary headlines? Interesting question. We're going to try and answer that in this video. Right now, Nvidia, of course, did have a little drop in its share price, around 20-25% or so. The overall semiconductor market has come down a little bit, while the stocks of semiconductors have come down. The overall market has come down as well, whether it's because of macro stuff or because, well, things just went up too quickly. But Nvidia this year is still up 116%, has a market cap of $2.63 trillion. Now, you might say, okay, fine, Nvidia is still a great company, I still expect it to grow quite a lot, but paying a forward PE of 36.5 times, that's a bit too much for me. Okay, but if we're looking at forward PE, EV to EBITDA, price to sales, price to free cash flow, and price earnings to growth, compare that to its 5-year mean, well, from a forward PE standpoint, we're actually lower than a 5-year mean. From an EV to EBITDA standpoint, also lower. Price to sales, we're a bit higher, which, yeah, it's quite high, 20.2 times. Even the mean is quite high, 16.8 times. Price to free cash flow, that's still lower. And then price earnings to growth, 1.09. That's not expensive at all. But as we know, looking at these types of metrics, especially forward-looking metrics, sometimes they work out very well. But sometimes you have a scenario like, for example, Intel, where it might look cheap, but then you have a quarter of complete disaster and suddenly it's not cheap at all anymore. I'm not saying Nvidia is Intel right now, but if Nvidia has a quarter of weakness or a good quarter but guidance is weak, then these types of metrics will suddenly become expensive, or at least more expensive than they are right now. Keep that in mind. Now, more specifically to Nvidia right now, what has happened? What are those headlines? Should we pay attention to those? Yes or no? Well, before jumping into that, like, subscribe, do all of that. Very close to reaching 50,000 subscribers, so thank you very much for all the support. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment with the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. So, there was an article that came out that said Nvidia's new AI chip delayed due to design flaws, according to the information. Chip maker informed Microsoft about the delays this week, last week. Big shipments of the Blackwell series delayed until Q1 2025. Nvidia upcoming artificial intelligence chips will be delayed due to design flaws. The information reports citing 2 unidentified people who helped produce the chip and its server hardware. The chips may be delayed by 3 months or more, which could affect Nvidia's customers, including Meta, Google, and Microsoft. Nvidia this week informed Microsoft about a delay affecting the most advanced AI chip models in the Blackwell series, according to an unidentified Microsoft employee and another person. The delays mean big shipments aren't expected until the first quarter of 2025. A spokesman for Nvidia wouldn't comment on its statement to customers about the delay, according to the report, but told the information that production is on track to ramp later this year. A comment from Morgan Stanley said, "We understand that the production of the original Blackwell design began at the end of Q2 2024, and any technical issues related to the original design can still be resolved through software systems. Nvidia hopes to further improve the stability of Blackwell by replacing some masks, that is, by redesigning it. The redesign of Blackwell has been completed at TSMC and will become a larger batch production version in Q4 2024. So, what will happen? This is just my opinion. I think the market will overreact, which could offer investors a good opportunity if you were looking to buy Nvidia. But remember, Nvidia is yet to report their quarterly figures. That will happen at the end of August. Right now, these are the expectations. EPS gap, 60 cents, revenue estimates of $28.49 billion. In the last 90 days, there were 38 EPS revisions on the upside and 2 on the downside. If you look at what the analysts are expecting for the coming fiscal years, sales growth for fiscal year 2025, still very, very good, 97.59% year-over-year growth, and EPS growing 111%. By the way, Here you can see the EPS, well, the revisions on the upside. At the start of 2021, it was much less than $1. We're now at $2.74 because, well, the estimates just went up and up and up and up and up. Of course, one day, maybe we will reach a ceiling for a short period of time, but currently I see no indication of that happening. And if you look at what the analysts are expecting, again, analysts can be completely wrong, by the way, but just for the sake of this video, these are the numbers. Fiscal year 2026, sales growth of 35%, same for EPS, and then a huge slowdown in 2027, 16% growth year over year, top and bottom line. And so, like I said, maybe there is going to be some opportunities in the next coming days because of an overreaction by the market. Then we reach the earnings date, they tell us the true story, the market takes it as a positive or negative, will of course depend on their guidance and their own reported numbers. I still don't think that we're going to see a huge slowdown. I mean, if we look at what has happened previously, in the last quarter, revenue increased 262% year over year and 18% quarter over quarter. Net income, 628% increase year over year and 21% quarter over quarter. Usually companies grow revenue 20% year over year, net income 20% year over year as well is quite respectable. Here they're doing it quarter over quarter. Of course, as we move into the Q2, Q3, Q4, quarter over quarter figures, you will not keep on seeing those 20%, 80% growth unless they come out with something incredible. But no, the quarter over quarter numbers will definitely be a bit less, but the year over year number here is still quite good. We can see the same thing with regards to the market platform. So data center increased 23% quarter over quarter and 427% year over year. They still have some segments of the business that is not doing that well. So gaming, professional visualization, quarter over quarter, it's down 8%, but year over year, it's up 18 and 45% respectively. And so if we look at the revenue trend over the last, year and a half or so, data center, of course, has taken the majority of the revenue. Gaming has seen some slowdown. Maybe we are seeing it stabilize a little bit, but they do expect still some weakness in that segment. Automotive should continue to increase as well. More and more smart cars get sold. Nvidia taking a bit more market share in that. We've seen a huge increase for Qualcomm, so I do expect Nvidia to experience a bit of the same. But again, all eyes are definitely on data center. And in my opinion, when data center will, let's say, quote unquote, slow down, I think we might see a refresh cycle in the gaming PC market, which could help offset some weakness in data center. Now, looking at the graph, for Nvidia stock to be around the 200-day moving average, it still has to drop 18.2%. Will it happen? I don't know. But this area could become quite attractive. It's also an area where previously back here in April, end of April or so, we have seen a little rebound after a drop. Could we see the same thing happen? Again, depends on the earnings report at the end of August. But to be honest, if we see some extreme weakness in the stock, but the business is expected to perform quite well, I do think that it's a very good opportunity for the long run. Now, like I said in the previous videos, I don't think that Nvidia will keep its dominant market share position. I mean, it's still going to be the leader, but is it going to have over 80-85% market share forever? I don't think so. That doesn't mean that the company will not do well. No, remember, Nvidia is also growing its software side of the business, and that's of course higher margins. The Nvidia story is not over. We've heard from most, if not all, the big tech companies. They're all still spending quite a lot of money on AI infrastructure. So yeah, I think Nvidia will do quite well in the short and the long run. What will the stock do in the short term? Well, for long-term investors, I hope the stock drops quite a lot. So yeah, let's see what happens in the coming days. That's just my opinion. Do leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.